In this lesson, you'll learn how to play What Was I Made For, using your choice of beautiful finger-picking patterns or easy strumming. I'll be using my tenor with low G tuning throughout this lesson. However, you can follow along with high G tuning as well. Just keep in mind that your fourth string is one octave higher than mine if you're using high G tuning, so the finger-picking patterns will sound slightly different on your instrument. Now let's begin by looking at how to play the chords in this song. Our first chord is G. For G, we have our index and middle fingers covering the second fret of strings 3 and 1, and our ring finger on the third fret of the second string. And next we have B minor. This is the most difficult chord in this song because it's a bar chord. So here we're going to bar the second fret across all 4 strings with our index finger, and we'll place down our ring finger on the fourth fret of the fourth string. Now if you're going to strum the song, then you do want to practice this chord shape. But if you're not comfortable with bar chords and you're going to use the finger picking patterns, then you can use an easier chord shape that eliminates the fourth string. So here we're going to use our index, middle, and ring fingers on the second fret of strings 3, 2, and 1. And later in the lesson, I'll show you how to use this partial B minor chord. Next we have our C chord, third fret of the first string, and then we have E minor. For E minor, we're covering the second fret of the first string with our index finger, third fret of the second string with our middle finger, and fourth fret of the third string with our ring finger. And next is A minor. For A minor, you can use your middle finger or your index finger on the second fret of the fourth string. And then next we have D. So going from A minor to D, we're going to keep our middle finger in place on the fourth string and add our ring finger and pinky to the second fret of strings 3 and 2. Now if you're going to use your index finger for A minor, then you'll keep your index finger in place for D and add your middle and ring fingers to the third and second strings. And our last chord is D7. This chord is only used in the very last line of the song. And to go from D to D7, we'll add our pinky to the third fret of the first string. Now for an easier version, if you find this chord shape to be a bit too challenging, to go from D to a Hawaiian version of D7, we'll lift up our middle finger, keeping our index finger and ring finger in place. Next we'll look at our finger-picking version of the song. You'll learn how to play the entire song using pattern 1, and then an optional second pattern that you may want to add in as well. Here's pattern 1, played slowly on a C chord. We'll start with strings 1, 2, and 3 together, using our ring finger, middle finger, and index finger. Then we'll pick the fourth string with our thumb, and then we'll finish with strings 2 and 3 together. And here's how this pattern sounds at a faster tempo. Here's how pattern 1 sounds with high G tuning. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and at a faster tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2. To apply pattern 1 to the song, we'll play this pattern 1 time on each chord. So starting with our introduction, we'll play our pattern once on G, then once on B minor, then twice on C because we have 2 C chords, then in line 2 we'll go back to G, us into verse 1. So let's count the rhythm of every 4 beats, from the introduction through the first C chord in line 2 of the first verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the remainder of the song, we'll continue to apply pattern 1 time to each chord. Now I did promise you an easier finger-picking option for B minor. So if you're not comfortable with a B minor bar chord shape, then we'll use the partial B minor chord that we covered earlier. And then we're going to pick a pattern that's similar to pattern 1, starting with strings 1 and 2, then the 3rd string, and then back to strings 1 and 2. This makes B minor easier to play until you're comfortable with a bar chord, and the rhythm here is the same as pattern 1. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. If you're enjoying this lesson, please show my channel some love by giving this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, then welcome. I'm Lara. I'm a musician and a composer, and on my channel you'll find song tutorials and fingerstyle arrangements for all levels. My song sheets, fingerstyle tabs, and songbooks are all available on Patreon. You'll find the link down below in the video description. Pattern 2 covers 4 beats, and this pattern is optional. So each of the chords throughout the song is held for 2 beats, and we can apply pattern 2 anytime we play the same chord twice in a row. Here's how this pattern sounds slowly on a C chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and at a faster tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. We start this pattern with an arpeggio or a broken chord through all 4 strings. Then we'll go to the 4th string with our thumb, 3rd string with our index finger, back to the 4th string, then down to strings 1 and 2 together with our ring and middle fingers, then back to the 4th string, and we finish on the 3rd string. Here's how pattern 2 sounds with high G tuning. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and at a faster tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can sprinkle this pattern throughout the song anytime we play the same chord twice in a row for a total of 4 beats to give some variation to the finger picking and make it a bit more interesting. So let's look at 2 examples of where we could use pattern 2 in this song. The first example is the C chord at the end of verse 1, as it's followed by another C chord that begins verse 2. And moving from one verse into the next is a nice place to add some variation. So we'll move into this C chord from B minor, playing pattern 1, then to C with pattern 2, and then back to pattern 1 with G. Another place that we could use pattern 2 is the first line of the chorus on our A minor and D chords, as each of these chords appear twice and they're each held for a total of 4 beats. So feel free to use pattern 2 anytime the same chord appears twice in a row. Now the final thing that I want to highlight in our finger-picking version is the last line of the song, where we have 3 D7 chords in a row. The first option here is to play pattern 1 on the first 2 D7 chords, and then play a nice slow arpeggio to end the song. Or the second option is to play pattern 2 on the first 2 D7 chords, and then we'll end with an arpeggio. And keep in mind here the Hawaiian D7 that we covered earlier if you're looking for an easier chord shape. Now for the final part of this lesson, we'll look at an easy strumming version. For our easy strumming version, we're going to play one down strum on each beat. 1, 2. So let's look at the introduction through the first C chord in verse 1 at a slow tempo, counting out every 4 beats, starting on G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can continue to play 2 down strums on every chord through the rest of the song, using the same chord shapes that we used earlier in the lesson. However, I want to give you one other strumming option that's even easier, and it makes for a nice variation throughout the song when you're strumming. So for this variation, instead of playing 2 down strums, we're going to play just 1 down strum as an arpeggio or a broken chord. Then we'll pause on beat 2. I like to use this variation on lines 2 and 4 of the chorus because this variation allows for more space for the vocals, and on these 2 lines the vocal melody reaches the highest notes. So to do this, we'll play 1 arpeggio on G, 1 on B minor, 1 on C, and then 1 more on C. Now let's count out the rhythm of lines 1 and 2 of the chorus at a slow tempo, counting out every 4 beats. We'll apply our strumming pattern using 2 down strums to line 1 on our A minor and D chords, and then we'll play our variation with just 1 arpeggio on the chords in line 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So feel free to use this arpeggio strumming variation wherever you'd like throughout the song. I want to mention that in this lesson, we're playing the song in the key of G. Now Billie Eilish sings the song in the key of C, which is way too high for my vocal range. So I brought the key down to G so that I can sing it. But if you prefer to sing the song in the key of C, then you can either transpose the chords or you can use your capo on the 5th fret and use the same chord shapes that we used in this lesson. Next up is our play along, where you can play and sing the entire song along with me. I'm going to use a combination of finger picking and strumming, but feel free to choose one or the other. 5, 6, 7, 8. Was I